Hey paddlers, this is Jasper from Paddle Africa. Thanks for watching. I'm down here on Fish Hoek Beach on a beautiful balmy winter's day, if you can believe it. And the sun's going down. We've got about an hour of sunlight left. I'm going to use that and do one of my bread and butter paddles. It's about a 10k paddle down to Muizenberg and back. It's going to go around that mountain in the background and then down to Muizenberg, which is about 5 kilometers away. There's normally some nice long gentle rolling waves there, so I'm going to go grab some waves. Just the easy paddle for me today, nothing serious. I'll talk you through some landmarks and some of the scenery as we go, and then like I said, hopefully get some great waves. So I've come around the corner out of Fish Hoek Bay, and in front of me I can see Kalk Bay. Pointing the camera there now, that's the Kalk Bay harbour, a very active little fishing harbour in the suburb of St. James, and then Muizenberg in the distance where you can see the mountain sloping down, and that's where I'm going today. Gonna grab some waves there, hopefully get some nice long rides and video some of those. So I'm a few kilometers into my paddle. I'm sitting just off Kalk Bay harbour, and as you can see around me, conditions are super glassy, like not a breath of wind and just some very little swells. But what I often find so misleading, and what I find with people paddling in these conditions, is they often come back on a day like today and they say, wow, I just felt so unstable, I don't know what's going on, do I need another boat or whatever, and it really creates a lot of doubt. And so I want to acknowledge that these days, these glassy days when seemingly it should be a very calm day, are some of the conditions that I find the most unstable. And I think it's because, and also like you see behind me in the background, there's a harbour wall. Often on days like this, there's very little movement on the water, very little wind chop that gives you feedback, and that actually helps you anticipate subconsciously and balance and find a nice rhythm. Whereas days like this where it's super glassy, where there's no apparent pattern in the waves of the chop, you actually find you wobble a lot. And that's what I find on days like this, is I often find myself most unstable on glassy days like this. So if you do find yourself being unstable on days like this, don't despair. There are the conditions that for me are the hardest to balance in. Often I'll find days where you're paddling into a very light headwind, where it's coming straight towards you, are often the days where you actually feel the most stable, provided the swell is not too big, because you're getting that constant feedback and you're actually able to get into a rhythm or a bit of a pattern. Whereas days like today, it's very difficult to do that. So if you do experience that, don't worry, these are actually unstable conditions to paddle in. If you don't feel unstable in glassy conditions like this, well done, you've graduated. Or it's time to move to a less stable boat, put it that way. But I'm in one of the least stable boats. I'm in the V11 today, so that's got a very narrow hull, and I find myself even wobbly on days like today. St. James, which connects with Muizenberg there in front of me. You can see the sun has just dipped behind those mountains now. So we're only 3 days past the winter solstice, so we're still very much in the phase of the year of long nights, short days. But in saying that, it is very moderate. We don't suffer from very short days here in Cape Town. We're not very far south, so winter is a very soft winter for us, and we do love and appreciate that. Just a few kilometers left down to Muizenberg, and I'll go look for some waves there. Still beautiful conditions, nice calm paddle, and really enjoying it so far. The St. James tidal pool now. If you've seen some photos of Cape Town, you may have picked up some photos. These are quite famous changing booths, traditional changing booths, which are a tourist attraction now. You might have picked those up, and now I'm at the St. James tidal pool. There's a nice little wave that breaks this. Every time I paddle past, I always stop there and see if I can get a little wave. I can see some swells approaching out there, so I'm going to wait around and see if I can get one of those and get a nice short right-hander. Just where you see that white water there, I'll pick it up here, ride it down into that gap, and then turn right and carry on down to Muizenberg. So let's pick up one of these waves. This one's building nicely. Just got to make sure I stay on the right hand side of that reef, I don't want to go too far inside. So, okay, I've missed that one now. Too much talking, so I'll wait for the next one. Sometimes it works to let one go because it takes the water off that shelf, and then the next one actually breaks a bit nicer. So let's get in front of this one. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep. You can actually see the reef down there. You might not see it on the camera. There I go. Guess I always don't want to get too close to the reef here. Nice one. Oh, look at that. Exposing there. And I got to turn out before I get into that. Luckily I'm still in deep water. Just whip the ski around. Now you can get a better view of the wave there. Smaller one. There you go. So now it's a lull in between sets. So I'll carry on for another kilometer or so down to Muizenberg and get some more waves down there. Amazing set is coming through here. It's my mission to see if I can get a 1 kilometer wave here. Don't know if I'm quite far enough out yet, but let's see. Of course, the benefit of a surf ski is that you can pick the waves up a lot deeper. Here we go. Surfing down to the left. Woo-hoo. Riding on the face, trying to extend the distance a bit. I've been riding the wave for about 30 seconds. I still haven't gotten to the surface, but that's really the benefit of a surf ski. You can just pick the waves up so much deeper. Okay, so now I'm getting into the surfing lineup now. I'll put the GoPro on the head again. Still going. Okay, now I've got to focus because the wave's going to break. Now I've got to keep it straight. Nice, managed to keep control of the rudder. So you'll notice just before the wave broke, I pulled straight. I wasn't going sideways anymore, and I paddled away from the white water to get control of my rudder so I can keep the boat straight. So I'm almost at the beach. Not quite a kilometer, but that's about 1.5 minutes worth of wave already. Now I wonder how far that was. I reckon probably about 500 meters, half a kilometer probably a bit more. Let's see. Wave at Muizenberg beach. I've ridden a wave in and now I've got to paddle back out again. It's about 3-4 feet, so it's not too small, it's pretty big, and then there are also lots of surfers in the water, so I've got to navigate them as well. So follow me now as I paddle out and give some tips along the way. Okay, remember, hit the foam straight, paddle over. Absolute key takeaways, if you remember anything, is go straight into the waves and put your paddle over. And last thing, with speed. You don't want to be going slow. So straight into it with speed, that's the key, absolute key. That was a big one, in the chest. Okay, let's pull up some speed ahead of this. See, I'm keeping it absolutely straight out, reformed, that got off easy there. Not too far from the back now. Over the swell. So I think I might be out now. Don't know if these waves are going to break. Because the beach at Muizenberg has got a relatively flat bottom, doesn't get deep too quickly. The waves tend to take a long time to break, so actually got out quite easily there. Let's get through this one. I don't think it'll break though. Okay, so a fairly easy paddle out there. I think the key takeaways is you want to go straight into the foam, put your paddle over the foam, and you want to hit it with speed. If you're going to remember anything about paddling out through the surf, remember those three things: straight, speed, paddle over the wave. I'm at the back line at Muizenberg beach. As you can see, the sun is now well and truly behind those mountains. Although Cape Town's on the west coast of Africa, I am on the eastern side of the Cape Peninsula, so the sun does dip down behind those mountains. So I'm at the back line. I'm going to wait for a biggish wave. I want to wait for a set, and I'm going to wait for a big wave to come through. So I want to see how far I can ride it, see if I can get on a wave for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Obviously, one of the benefits of surf ski paddling and why we love it is that we're able to sit way out the back, way beyond the surface, and get long rides. Lots of people prefer to pull off the wave, off the swell before it becomes a broken wave, but I'm actually going to ride it today while it's a broken wave all the way to the beach to see how far I can go for. So that's it. So I'm going to wait for a nice big one and then take you along for that ride. Just a bit of a geography lesson. That's Cape Point, you can see there. Going back, that's Simonstown. Then that peak in the middle of the screen is Fish Hoek. Then coming along, that's Kalk Bay, St. James, and Muizenberg Beach over there. Beautiful, beautiful evening. Gotta go. On the start, she's going to double up. Woo! Still going. What a wave so far. And down the face. Phew. Almost lost it there. Almost lost it. He's managed to keep it straight. Moment that I almost lost that, but I got control back, managed to keep it straight to the beach. Well, I've just come into Fish Hoek Bay after a beautiful paddle, just a few hundred meters left to get to the tub down there, but thanks for watching. It's been an absolutely incredible paddle. Very normal thing for me to do. This is a bread and butter paddle on a quiet evening like this, just down to Muizenberg, catch a couple waves and back. Just wanted to run you guys through some quick gear that I chose for tonight. I've obviously got my Marco Flow PFD on with the pocket where everything goes into. I wanted to get into the water quick, so I just grabbed my cell phone dry bag, phone and key went right in there, slipped in, no worries, nice and big enough, and a nice zip seal and 3 fold overs, keep everything safe and dry. Then also I've got my Equinox sleeveless neoprene top on, which just keeps the splashes off my chest, keeps me nice and warm and comfortable. My neoprene long, so that's the gear I chose for tonight. Really comfortable setup for this type of paddle, especially when I'm going to be going in and out through the surf a lot. Thanks for watching again. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, like and leave me a comment. It just encourages me and helps to keep the channel going. And leave me a comment as to where you paddle, what you're up to, and of course any questions you might have. Thank you, see you again.